Hello and Namaste friends. As those of you who have watched the introductory video will recall, I am Neti Neti and Aham Brahmasmi. I live in North America and I started the Living Sanatana Dharma series to share what I learned about Sanatana Dharma and how I live by its concepts and values. I find that these concepts and values are very helpful to keep me on a steady course through the ups and downs of life. In this video, I will try to shed some light on what yoga is and what the main path of yoga are, and how we can use this path to attain our goals in life. Followers of Sanatana Dharma aim to attain moksha as the ultimate spiritual goal. Moksha represents the permanent awareness of the ultimate reality of the union or yoga of the individual soul with the Supreme, that is God. That permanent awareness leads to a state of bliss, Satchitananda. For more on this, please view the post on Maya and Moksha. According to Sanatana Dharma, yoga is a way of life, an integrated system of education for the body, mind, and inner spirit. This art of right living was perfected and practiced in Bharat, that is India, thousands of years ago. But since yoga deals with universal truth, its teachings are as valid today as they were in ancient times. Yoga is a practical aid, not a religion, and its techniques may be practiced by all. There are various forms or paths of yoga, and Sri Krishna talks about these to Arjuna, that is to us, through the Bhagavad Gita. Among other ancient scriptures about yoga, Rishi Patanjali wrote his Yoga Sutras. There are four main paths of yoga: karma, jnana, bhakti, and raja. Since we each have our own personality based on our respective prarabdha karmas, we may prefer one path over another. For a reminder of karma, please view that post. For holistic results, the heart, intellect, and body should be developed simultaneously, and so yoga practice should ideally include elements from these four main paths. As millions have experienced over thousands of years in Bharat and abroad, practicing yoga can lead to improvement in material and spiritual well-being. Now I'd like to share my perspective on the four main paths, starting with what I consider the most important, that is Gyan Yoga. Gyan means knowledge, understanding. Understanding based on knowledge allows us to make better decisions about material and spiritual matters that can improve our lives. Understanding the key concept of Sanatana Dharma, for example, karma and reincarnation, moksha and maya, can equip us with what we need to remain balanced and serene in all circumstances, good or adverse, and therefore to progress steadily and surely towards our goals or material and spiritual progress and well-being. This and other videos in the series about living Sanatana Dharma therefore fall under Gyan Yoga, and they can equip those who wish to follow Sanatana Dharma with the knowledge and understanding needed to practice it for their benefit. Gyan Yoga followers will read scriptures such as the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads and strive to understand its key teachings, and then apply what they understand in their everyday life. They may also seek guidance from a guru who, under the tradition of Guru Shishya or Guru Student, can impart them the knowledge that they seek at a pace aligned to their specific potential or their prarabdha karma. For example, they may be able to understand and accept that the material world is an illusion masking the ultimate underlying reality, or may take some time, or maybe more than a lifetime, to understand and accept that. Gyan Yoga can equip yogis to use the intellectual techniques of Vivek that is discrimination, and vairag, dispassion, to see clearly through the veils of illusions or maya, and always see the reality, aham brahmasmi, we are one with God. This practice can lead Gyan Yoga practitioners to experience the bliss referred to as Satchitanand. Adopting the path of Gyan Yoga through the range of learning paths available at the Brahmacharya stage of life allows youth, for example, to be well equipped to make the best of their life, to understand the wisdom of balancing the four main aims of life, and to fully comprehend how their actions, thoughts, and words can impact their future, that is, through their kriyaman karma. See the video on the four aims of life and that of the four stages of life for more. Gyan Yoga generally paves the way for better informed spiritual practitioners using the various paths of yoga within Sanatana Dharma. Let's look now at a very popular form of spiritual practice, Bhakti Yoga, or the devotional path of union with God. This path is considered by many to be a simple spiritual path in the current era of Kali Yuga. Why is that? Well, it's partly because of the ease and simplicity of its practices, at least from the perspective of so many practitioners. It may also be because Kali Yuga is the era of conflict, creating a lot of emotions to deal with, whether as a result of war, crime, terror, or interpersonal conflicts amplified by the channels of social media communication. Through various practices such as chanting, prayers, and the repetition of shlokas and mantras, whether at home or in spiritual practice locations such as an ashram or a temple, the emotions of practitioners of Bhakti Yoga are channeled into devotion, into divine love, while reducing anger, hatred, jealousy, and other negative emotions. In relation to Gyan Yoga, practitioners of Bhakti Yoga can achieve even better union with the divine when they fully understand the meaning of the shlokas and mantras, that is, the hymns and verses from the scriptures that they chant. Similarly, when singing bhajans, devotional songs, bhaktas or devotees can achieve an even better spiritual connection with the Supreme if their intellects, informed by Gyan Yoga, work together with the emotions they channel in the practice of Bhakti Yoga. As emotional love evolves into pure divine love, the Bhakti Yogi begins to see the divine in all. This can lead to a permanent ability to enjoy the bliss of awareness of that ultimate reality referred to as Satchitanand. So what is Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga is the path of action as described extensively by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. It is the path of selfless service performed with complete detachment from any personal outcomes of the actions performed. The Karma Yogi works hard both physically and mentally. They seek to eliminate the ego and its attachments, to serve humanity without expecting reward, and to see unity in diversity in alignment with the spirit of ancient and enduring principles of Sanatana Dharma, such as these: Vasudhaiva Kutumbhakam, the universe is one family; Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, let everyone, regardless of any characteristic, be happy. This means that under Sanatana Dharma, Karma Yogi consider all fellow humans equally and seek to be of service to all humanity. They also exemplify ahimsa towards others, including animals, by being vegetarian, for example. The spirit of Karma Yoga enables the Karma Yogi to tune in to the one underlying divine essence that dwells within all beings. In Karma Yoga, work itself is the practice if performed with the right mental attitude. Ultimately, it is a path by which the mind is quickly purified and its limits transcended, leading Karma Yogis to be one with the Supreme. So what is Raja Yoga? Well, we possess vast mental and psychic resources that lie virtually untapped below the surface of our conscious mind. By observing their own thoughts, scientifically and objectively, ancient yogis studied the many obstacles to bringing the mind under conscious control. Rishi Patanjali compiled their findings in the Yoga Sutras, providing an 8-step Ashtanga blueprint for living a values-based life, enjoying the best possible health within the constraints of our prarabdha karma, controlling our restless minds to clear the path towards samadhi, the superconscious spiritual state of union with the divine. Steadfast efforts along this path of yoga or union with the divine has allowed many to achieve outstanding spiritual as well as material benefits such as health, contentment, the esteem of others, and extraordinary abilities such as siddhis and shaktis, and ultimately samadhi or a superconscious spiritual state. So what are the 8 steps of Ashtanga Yoga that we mentioned? The first 2 are about living in alignment with the 10 values of Sanatana Dharma. Please see the separate video on that. In the Yoga Sutras, Rishi Patanjali refers to those as the yams and the niyams. The assumption underlying a values-based living as a prerequisite is that it will be more difficult to progress spiritually if you are unable to adhere strictly to values, and you therefore keep creating more and more negative karma that causes more and more consequences that you have to continually spend time and effort to painfully deal with. These values are satya, truthfulness, ahimsa, avoiding violence, brahmacharya, restraint, asteya, not stealing, aparigraha, not desiring what is not ours, saucha, purity, santosha, contentment, tapa, self-sacrifice, swadhyaya, self-knowledge, ishwar pranidhan, surmounting one's ego to embrace the higher reality. It makes sense that our lives should reflect our quest for spiritual betterment, so our actions, thoughts, and deeds will definitely exemplify these 10 values. As our spiritual self shines stronger and brighter with time, these 10 values will simply become aspects of who we are and how we are perceived by others. The next 2 steps have to do with the need for all of us to take good care of our health, avoiding chronic conditions that can be caused by neglect and faulty lifestyle choices. We are aware, for example, of the global changes to people's diet, the obesity epidemic, and the worldwide suffering caused by related diseases. Yogis have a proactive and preventative approach that combines proper Ayurvedic nutrition with physical stimulation of the entire body through a vast array of exercises under Hatha Yoga and Pranayama. Hatha Yoga brings together the research, practice, and wisdom of ancient rishis, the sages, offering many postures and exercises that stimulate all parts of our bodies and keep them working at their best throughout life. Pranayama focuses on breathing and breath control techniques aimed at keeping the life force or prana flowing most effectively through our bodies, helping to keep us disease-free and at our peak performance levels. Pranayama can also play a key role as yogis take further steps towards dhyana and samadhi. To reach the 8th and final step of samadhi, that is superconscious blissful union with the Supreme, Raja Yoga, that is Ashtanga Yoga, practitioners will meditate deeply. The 7th step, called dhyana, is meditation in total concentration. Blanking the mind from thoughts is very helpful, therefore, for that purpose. So the 2 preceding steps of pratyahara, learning and practicing how to exercise control over our senses, and dharana, concentration of our minds, are therefore essential to achieve spiritual progress through dhyana. At the pratyahara step, we learn how to control our reactions to sensory perception. What we see through our eyes or perceive through our sense of smell, for example, can captivate our mind or cause revulsion, and learning to avoid such reactions can free up our minds for spiritual progress. We can spend precious time dealing with the maya that we create through all kinds of thoughts generated by our own mind. Dharan, the ability to concentrate our mind to be able to meditate effectively, is also aligned with several values of Sanatana Dharma, such as brahmacharya, aparigraha, santosha, saucha, and swadhyaya. Once we leave our ego behind through profound meditation, we prepare ourselves to fully embrace the ultimate reality in the bliss of samadhi, that is Aham Brahmasmi, I am one with the Supreme. As we chart our own specific spiritual path, we should keep in mind that under Sanatana Dharma, we can live our spiritual lives and progress towards moksha at our own pace, based upon our own prarabdha karma, that is our own potential. We can select any type of practice under any one of those four main paths of yoga, including combinations of practices from the various paths, as long as they work for us at any point in our lives. For example, we can change the mix of Gyan to Bhakti Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga to Karma Yoga, or Karma Yoga to Raj Yoga, whenever we feel that doing so will take us closer to our ultimate goal of moksha. This brings me to the end of what I wanted to share with you through this video about yoga under Sanatana Dharma. I hope this was a good use of your time. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics related to Sanatana Dharma that you would like me to address, you can email those to me, and if I can address those, I will. Also, if you find these posts useful, please share the link to this channel with others who might be interested. And yes, please subscribe to the channel and like the videos you like. Thank you for your attention. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.